Maggie Dennis, and after 20 years of being a primary teacher, I now have the role of Pastoral Support Lead at Danesfield School, and I'd like to give you a bit of an insight into how we've been supporting our children's emotional wellbeing during this latest period of remote learning. The Department for Education issued guidance last year which outlined various methods to support the wellbeing of pupils. One was with regards to having realistic expectations of what each child would and wouldn't be able to do while learning from home. Many of us on our staff team are parents too, and we understand the difficulties of providing screens and space for our children to work, particularly when you have more than one child, coupled with trying to work at the same time. We get it. So the first thing to say here is that we have tried very hard to remove or certainly reduce any pressure on children and their parents. School laptops were loaned to any children who didn't have access to one at home. A full timetable of daily class calls is available to children via Microsoft Teams, which helps provide some form of continuity of learning, but perhaps more importantly, keeps us connected with our pupils and also allows them an all-important opportunity to interact with each other if they can access the live calls. But these calls are recorded and made available for children and their parents to access at a time that suits the whole family. So we took away the pressure of needing to be online at a certain time, and we've kept things flexible. Our wonderful Forest School leader put together a series of videos giving families ideas of things to do outside with their children. These can be accessed at any time and give parents something else to do with their children. We keep in touch with parents via a weekly newsletter and have made it clear that the online class timetables are there to help provide structure to each child's day, but that if it's felt that a particular afternoon might be best spent walking in the woods, then that is okay. We want to encourage and support parents as they deal with every lockdown day by giving them a structured programme that is realistic as well, given the current times. For us as a school, the provision of learning opportunities is of course a huge priority, but so is making sure our children and their parents are as happy as they can be. We use a computer programme called Skodal with our Year 5 and 6 children, which gives them an opportunity to think about and share how they're feeling with their teachers in a confidential way. We see this as a kind of early warning system that helps us to identify children who aren't happy, and also it gives us a way to analyse and look at a glance what contributing factors are. It might not come as a surprise to you that the most common theme we've seen being identified by children feeling unhappy is that of friendship issues. In school, we deal with this by offering one-to-one support, small group work and circle time sessions, amongst other things. This has now shifted to an online version. I check in with individual children as well as working with small groups. It's so important that children's voices are still heard, and we fully agree with the Skodal philosophy that having the opportunity to check in should be a purposeful and deliberate part of every school community. We are well aware of the alarming statistics that indicate half of all adult mental health problems start before the age of 14, and that steps need to therefore be taken early on to identify problems and provide support as quickly as possible. For some time now, we've attempted to normalise conversations about mental health and wellbeing, and our children have become increasingly fluent in using the language associated with good mental health. We have many pupils who will talk about having a growth mindset in their approach to any problems or difficulties. We too have had to have a growth mindset approach to this current situation. None of us signed up to teaching or supporting our children via computer screens when we entered the profession. But we are able to teach and support children via a computer screen to an extent. The DfE guidance referred to maintaining a sense of community for all members of the school family, children, parents, teachers and the entire staff team. We recognise ourselves as a hub of the local community, and that our school is the place where children spend up to half their waking hours. To attempt to replicate this hub virtually isn't easy, but there are things we can do to create an online community. By having Microsoft Teams as our platform for remote learning, we can bring classes of children together as well as smaller groups. Children can see each other during class calls, and teachers have also set up a playground channel on their respective class teams, which children can use to chat to each other, share pictures and so on. We're conscious of guiding our children in how to engage effectively and safely with each other online, as well as being able to have fun still together. I've been running some break time sessions, a 15-20 minute call where I invite maybe 4 or 5 children to join me for a break. We have a chat together, we might play a funny game. Seeing children laughing and chatting together like this, even if it's on a screen, gives me as much of an emotional boost, not just them. In school, we run a lunchtime friendship club called Poppy Club, It's always been popular, particularly among the large number of military children who we have on our roll. This has been transferred to an online version, which last week was attended by over 40 children from across year groups. This enabled children to see people from outside their own class, and you could see the delight on their faces at being able to see each other this way. The technology we have, or that we use, allows us to share screens and access things like Kahoot quizzes, which our children love taking part in. Staying in contact with each other has been something we've monitored carefully. Teachers are able to see who is and isn't accessing the class calls, and they will check up on any children who aren't attending, just to see how they're doing. We stay in regular touch with parents by Teams, phone and email. Teachers are asked to let the senior leadership and pastoral team know if someone's struggling or is in need of more support. Letters are signed off with the words Team Danesfield, and that's what we encourage our children to think of us as being. One big team that supports, encourages and really roots for each other. Going into children's homes, albeit virtually, and teaching them in this way has of course brought challenges, but lovely moments too. It's lovely to see a child want to show you their dog or their cat, their teddy bear, their new football, their snowman in the garden. All of this has led to perhaps the strengthening of relationships between children and their teachers, which will be hugely positive for when the return to school can happen. Having more frequent calls and video calls has also allowed for the development of strong relationships with families, as communication has perhaps felt a bit less formal than a meeting in school. And this is definitely something to bear in mind for the future, as different styles of communication and channels may continue to offer more opportunities for disclosure and support. So, to summarise our approach to supporting children's wellbeing, no pressure, just support and honesty, opportunities for children to interact with each other as a class and in smaller groups, opportunities for children to express how they're feeling and for that to be monitored, and remembering that these are children and they follow our lead. If we can make this as fun a time as it can be, then that's what they will remember. Last week, we handwrote notes to all 430 pupils telling them how awesome we thought they were, and we attached these notes to a chocolate bar. These were then hand-delivered by members of our incredible staff team to each child's home. We received so many messages from parents saying things like, "This is just the boost we needed," or "This has really made their day."